What's up, guys? This is Free Ballin, new podcast presented by Fletcher Entertainment and hosted by Ethan Sarton. We're going to be talking mostly about sports, NFL, NBA, college, everything that's going around. I think we're going to start with the NFL.
We're going to start with the NFL. I'm going to try to do a recap of every NFL game, all 16 games. Also, we are going to go into the NBA a little bit, speak about the ridiculous choke job by the Clippers last night. Doc Rivers once again proven that he choked so hard that Brazzers now wants an endorsement. We will then also talk about the dogfight that was Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, and we'll just preview the conference finals as a whole.
All right, let's jump right into it.
So here we are. First things first, the fact that we're having an NFL season is kind of surprising to everybody. I don't think anybody really expected to be here, but here we are. The NFL, too much money. They've got to play. So we'll start off with the first game. We had the Texans and the Chiefs. You have the reigning Super Bowl champions coming out, looking like the Super Bowl champion. Patrick Mahomes, still the best quarterback in the league, and best quarterback I've ever seen. Made it look extremely easy. I think he was still in training camp the way he was playing. It was very, very easy. And then you've got Bill O'Brien, who is still the biggest idiot that I've ever seen when it comes to running an NFL team. You have Deshaun Watson, you have a generational talent at quarterback, and a generational talent at wide receiver with DeAndre Hopkins, and you trade him for a bag of chips and a running back who hasn't played 8 games in a season in 4 years. But, whatever, that's what they do. Deshaun Watson, still awesome, no help, running for his life on every play, and because they traded DeAndre Hopkins, they now have a wide receiver who cannot get open. So it's rough for him. I really feel bad for him. This guy could get Hunter Renfrow open with ease, and he cannot get NFL receivers open because of the lack of talent there, and it's very sad.
For a second, I thought you said Dylan Renfrow.
Oh, Dylan Renfrow? No, not Dylan Renfrow. They look about the same, but somehow one's an NFL receiver. But then you've got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the rookie out of LSU, lives up to the hype. There's a lot of fantasy hype for him coming into the year as a dual-threat guy. Absolute beast. Picked up right where he left off in the national championship. Leads the NFL in rushing after one game. Looks like a Brian Westbrook. If you remember him from the Eagles, fits right into Andy Reid. Perfect running back for him. Also has a little feeling of Maurice Jones-Drew there. Short, thick running back. Can do it all. And once again, Mahomes, he's the best. Going to be very hard to beat the Chiefs. If they win under 13 games this year, I will be shocked. Then let's start off on the Sunday games. The Patriots and the Dolphins. Cam Newton, quarterback, New England Patriots. First new quarterback for the Patriots in 20 years, and it's Cam Newton. And there's some guys in Boston who get a little white-knuckled watching him dance when the end zone. That just not really what Boston normally goes for, but I think they're going to love Cam.
Cam Newton is hands down the best player I've ever watched entertainment-wise in college football.
Well, even in college football, when you look at him when he was at Auburn, not a single player on that offense have an NFL catch, rushing yard, or touchdown in the NFL.
I know that.
And he won a national championship with him. Cam Newton, he's
a beast.
He's a beast. Didn't have to throw much, but proves he can still run. His arm will get going. Don't worry about that. Filling into the new system, he looked pretty good. With the Dolphins, Fitzmagic. Looked a little bit more like shit's magic there in week 1. It was you never know what you're going to get with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Played terrible, threw three picks, right 2 people, which means next week he'll probably throw for 450 yards and 4 touchdowns. But shit's magic was on full display week 1. So, shit's magic. If he doesn't turn back into Fitzmagic, is it Tua time? That's a question people need to ask. I mean, last time we saw him, he literally dislocated his hip. Didn't look good. But when he plays, he's pretty good. He's not a Harvard man like Fitzmagic, but the guy can play. And, first game without Brady. The hoodie gets a W. The hoodie gets a win. Bill Belichick, Tom Brady leaves. He signs Cam Newton and starts doing Subway commercials. He's a whole new man without Tom Brady. And
Cam Newton got the most rushing yards in a game
for a Patriots quarterback, yeah.
In franchise history, I think.
Yeah, if it wasn't the franchise history, I know for a fact it was at least a season opener.
Was it?
So he looked like Cam and said they tried to steal his chain after the game. He's got his swagger back.
I saw that.
He's here. He's ready to go.
That was definitely on Miami starting that first.
And then in the game that I don't think 12 people in America watched, we had the Jets and the Bills. Le'Veon Bell, hamstring already hurt. What a waste of money he has been on the Jets. But, you know what? The man got his money. That's all he wanted, right? Bet he wishes he was back in Pittsburgh. You've got Josh Allen. I've always said he's a great football player. Didn't know if he was a great quarterback. Week 1, he looked like a great quarterback. He was throwing the ball all over the place, still rushed for 70 yards. Guy's a hell of a player. Hell of a player. If he can start throwing with some accuracy, they could be pretty dangerous this year. I think they win the AFC East. And, you know, in the wise words of Julian off Big Daddy, the goddamn Jets. The fact that they went 7-9 last year is insane to me. Adam Gase is an absolute idiot. Always looks like he's tweaking on something. And then you got Sam Darnold following in the line of these heralded USC quarterbacks who are absolute dog shit in the NFL. You go from Matt Leinart, you go Mark Sanchez. You've got him. Like it just doesn't work at USC. I don't know why. Since Carson Palmer left, everything else has been absolutely trash. Then, hey, Le'Veon's hurt. What does that mean? Frank Gore is back. This man has been running since Al Gore was running for president. He has been playing long enough to where his son played his first college football game this week. And he's still in the NFL. Gotta love me some Frank Gore. But anyway, who cared about that game whatsoever? Bills win pretty easy. Then you got the Browns and the Ravens. Whew! It was bad. Odell, you know, the Cleveland Steamers receiver. Cleveland Browns receiver. Sorry, shit joke. My bad there. Could not catch anything. I mean, he likes brown things hitting him in the chest, and he still couldn't catch the football. I don't understand it. It looked bad. And Browns, come on. Pop a Viagra. You got to get your Chubb hard. You got to run Nick Chubb as much as you possibly can. There's no reason why he doesn't get carries. I don't care if you're down 30. Give the ball to Chubb. Stiffen your Chubb. Play the way you play. The Ravens, on the other hand, Lamar Jackson, still the MVP. That guy is throwing the ball accurate. He was pocket passing, and that's scary because Lord knows once he starts running, nobody's going to catch him.
Against the Browns, though.
It was against It was the Browns. Well, the Titans, I mean, he still threw for 400-plus yards in that game. But Lamar is starting to look more like a pocket quarterback, which is scary because Lord knows when he runs, he's electrifying. Absolutely electrifying. And Baker Mayfield might be trash. Might be trash. Might be trash. His best highlights are on Hulu commercials. But if you're the Browns, you can't go to Case Keenum. Because then maybe he wins you 4 or 5 games, and then you're stuck drafting another rookie quarterback who won't do shit, and you just keep the same cycle you've been going since '99. Lions and Bears, next game. Oh my. Mitchell the Bitchel. Mitch Trubisky really throws 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Like, what the hell? It's just enough to make Bears fans think, we're back, we got this defense. It didn't take 2 days for Allen Robinson to request a trade. So, guys, just calm down. Bears are still awful. Week 5 or 6, it'll be Big Dick Nick time. Nick Foles will come in. Mr. Trubisky's still not good, but you got to give it to him. He fought. Adrian Peterson, playing for the Lions. Rushes for 94 yards. He was picked up last week. This man, I don't know when he's ever going to retire. You know, you've got, like, the torn ACL. He comes back, almost breaks a single-season record. Severely whips his children. Not saying it was right. He still comes back and rushes for 1,000. A pandemic at 35. I'll rush for 95 on one of the best defenses in the NFL. They call him all day for a reason. And how can you watch that game without feeling bad for DeAndre Swift? He makes his NFL debut, and he's wide open, crossing the goal line with 10 seconds left to win the game. Right off his chest and drops it. They lose the game. You can't have a worse feeling in your debut. You feel bad for the guy. I still think he's going to be great.
That was terrible.
But it was terrible. Matt Stafford throws a great ball. If you're a Georgia guy, how do you not bail out your Georgia quarterback? It doesn't make sense. Somehow Mark Richt rubbed off on that play because that's exactly what happens. It makes no sense.
It's like them versus Tennessee.
Yeah, it was...
Drop balls.
I mean, he's literally crossing the goal line. Touchdown. And he's turning upfield. You're in the end zone. There's no more field to turn up. And you still drop. It was bad. It was bad. And an unexpected shootout, we had the Packers and the Vikings. Aaron Rodgers, I think he's a little pissed off about the Jordan Love drafting because he literally gave one of the all-time great fuck you games I've ever seen in my life. Going out there in his first game like that against a pretty solid Vikings defense and just throwing it all over the field. Doing exactly what he wanted. Unbelievable vintage performance by Aaron Rodgers. Devontae Adams showing once again that he's a top 3 or 4 receiver in the league. 156 yards, 2 touchdowns, 41 fantasy points. So if you had Devontae Adams, if you don't get a dub, just go ahead and quit your league because you're going to be in trouble. Watching that game, I'm watching and I'm seeing Kirk Cousins has 4 pass attempts with 20 seconds left in the first half. You're paying this man $80 million. Let him throw the ball. He's not as bad as people want to say he is. He's not as great as that contract says. But if you're paying the man the money, let him throw the ball. That's ridiculous. Could not believe it. The end of the game, he got in a bit of a rhythm and tried to bring him back. Throwing the ball to Adam Thielen, who looks like a true number one and not just a complimentary piece to Stefon Diggs. He looks like he can do his thing on his own. Vikings fans, don't worry too much. Need to start throwing the ball a little bit more. But who am I to sit here and second guess Mike Zimmer? The guy's an unbelievable coach. Still get it together. Next game, Falcons and Seahawks. Me as a Falcons fan, we are still the same exact team. It's extremely frustrating. We cannot stop a nosebleed on defense. 0 for 4 on 4th downs. We literally faked a punt, got the first down, and then fumbled. It's rough. Dirk Cutter is an absolute moron trying to call the plays. 4th and goal. You call it rollout with Matt Ryan? He doesn't roll out. He's a pocket quarterback. The dude runs a 4.9. Absolutely ridiculous, but it is what it is. In the wise words of Russell Wilson, Mr. Unlimited came out there. 4 incomplete passes. 2 were drops. 1 was a throwaway.
Where was that game played?
It was in Atlanta, in front of, all 0 fans. But, I mean, not much different than a normal Falcons game, I guess. But Russell Wilson looked unbelievable. 4 incomplete passes. It was a great performance. And you have Jamal Adams making his debut with the Seahawks. This man had 5 tackles for a loss at safety. I don't know about you, but I've never heard of that before in my life. Greg Williams said that he would be bored by going there because of their system. He says, I'm not bored. I love winning games. He plays great. Matt Ryan, again, 450 yards. Not much more to say about him. He's still great. Julio leads the league in receiving after week 1. Offense ain't the problem. Defense is. Panthers and Raiders. Absolute track meet between Josh Jacobs and Christian McCaffrey. 2 of the best running backs in the league. Josh Jacobs still doesn't get enough credit. They did what they needed to do. They both play their ass off. Teddy Two Gloves getting his first start there at the Panthers. Didn't look bad. Hit Robbie Anderson for a 75-yard touchdown. Got to give him that. But those Panthers are absolutely terrible. I mean, they are god-awful. Matt Rule, this isn't Baylor. You actually have to play defenses now. This isn't the Big 12. It was rough. Horrible defense. And can we all just talk about John Gruden taking off his hair, or his hat? This man's hair looked like the taint hair of a 75-year-old man. I mean, it was rough.
That's awful.
I mean, that's the best way to put it. I mean, it was rough. There was maybe 4 hairs, but they were going completely different directions. Vegas is already rubbing off on Gruden. You gotta love it. Colts and Jaguars. Jaguars tanking for Trevor Lawrence, right? Nah, they're jagging off. Jags get the dub. It is Minshew magic. Throws 1 incomplete pass. Telling you right now, Gardner Minshew, call him the underground bunker because the man is tank proof. He's got it going. The Jags look good. And the best part about that game, Phillip Rivers, his weekly driving to win and not finishing the drive within the last 2 minutes. It happens every week. They're down by a touchdown. He drives them down, stalls out. Love you, Phillip Rivers. And it's crazy you have trouble getting it in because you do have about 9 kids. I figured you'd find a way, but somehow he does it. Prayers up to Marlon Mack. Hope the Achilles ends up all right. Washington and Philly. It's crazy you have to change your team name to the football team to finally have a football team. But they have figured it out. Carson Wentz, I've been saying it for years, the man's ass. He's not good. He's got arm talent. He's got all that. He's not good. His team plays better without him. He's not good. Chase Young, looking like an absolute stud. 1.5 sacks in his debut with a strip sack. Redskins have 8 sacks in the game. Redskins, oh, sorry, don't cancel me. The football team had 8 sacks. I'm sorry. Old habits die hard. But he plays great. Ron Rivera, he's my football guy of the week. This man legitimately had a planned IV at halftime after, he was diagnosed with cancer. He has a planned IV at halftime and then leads his team on a 17-point comeback. Shout out Riverboat Ron. Tampa Bay and New Orleans, a game everybody wanted to see. You've got Drew Brees and Tom Brady going at each other. I haven't seen men this old go at each other since a nursing home tennis court. But They're there. Tom Brady did not look like the Tom Brady of young, I guess you would say. He joins in a very, very elite group of being only the third quarterback with a pick six in 3 straight games, joining Matt Schaub and Blaine Gabbert. So there we go. That's right where you want to be at. Those are guys you really want to be talked about with. New Orleans, what can you say about them? They're still great. Fat Kenny Chesney, Sean Payton, still going to dial up these plays. Still figures it out. Michael Thomas, ankle hurt. As a Falcons fan, I don't hate it. As a fantasy owner, why, Michael? Why do you got to do that? I need your slants. Bruce Arians calling out Tom Brady. Gotta love it. Arians don't play no shit. I'll tell you that. And let's go ahead and talk about Scotty Miller. If you're a fantasy owner, look at him. White slot receiver for Tom Brady. Why would you expect him to do anything other than have 100 catches? He's going to figure it out. He's actually going to be very nice. Brady will figure it out, but the Mike Evans injury is going to be tough to get going. Cincinnati and the Chargers. Joe Burrow actually looks pretty solid. They've got a winner there in Cincinnati. I think he's going to be good. Obviously, Fletch, you saw him play in person at LSU last year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And watching him play for the Bengals, he actually looked a little small.
I think he looked small, but I thought he might have actually put on a couple pounds from college, but he still has a very slight frame. I will give you that.
Yeah, it's funny how he looks a lot bigger at LSU. Now he's in NFL, and it's just so much of a totally different game from college to the league.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Huge guy in the SEC. Now he's just
a guy. Yeah, he's just a guy. So. And I think we can both agree we weren't expecting his first touchdown to be a 25-yard quarterback draw.
No, not at all.
But he's
He's a tough guy. He's tough.
As we like to say, he's sneaky athletic. But he looked good. AJ Green, the man's actually alive still, even though he hadn't played in 2 years. Nobody expected that. I wasn't expecting him to ever play again the way he is. I figured he'd get turf toe or something crazy and sit out the whole year. But he was there and actually didn't look bad. Tyrod Taylor, your typical placeholder for a rookie quarterback, week 6 or 7, he'll be on the bench. But good God, if you saw the end of that game, Randy Bullock had made 20-plus straight kicks from inside 40 yards. 31 yards to tie the game. This kick was so far right that they showed it on Fox News. It was rough. I mean, he missed it bad. As soon as he kicks it, he immediately grabs his right calf.
I saw that.
Says it's hurt.
Was he faking?
The press conference, it's his left calf that...
So he was faking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to me, it just sounded like he might have tore his self-esteem.
Yeah, he missed it, and then he's like, I got faking injury.
Yeah, 100%. He said, my self-esteem, it's located right here behind my leg. It hurts. Yeah. It was rough.
Did you see Joe Burrow's face after that?
Oh, that's what happens when you go to Cincinnati, man. You go from the Tigers to the Bengals. You're still in the Tigers. That's 2 different species, I'll tell you that right now. You're not in Death Valley anymore. It's rough.
It's nuts.
You don't have Coach O in your ear getting you going. You got Zach Taylor. It's still going to be rough for Cincinnati, but you have a winner at quarterback. I'll give you that. San Francisco and Arizona. Kyler Murray. The guy is for real.
Yeah, that was nuts.
I mean, the guy is absolutely for real. He literally looks like Bilbo Baggins over here running around like a little hobbit around this whole defense. I've never even watched Lord of the Rings. If I'm wrong, excuse me. I'm sorry.
But the thing is they wanted him in the MLB. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, this guy
to set out.
He went top 10. He went top 10 in both sports. The dude's a freak athlete.
Yeah. I was no doubt he'll do better in baseball, but, I mean, right now he's, proving him wrong.
This man's 5'9", 5'10", playing quarterback in the NFL. It's ridiculous. Watching him run looks like... I mean, don't get me wrong, the speed's there, but just the strides, it looks like a toddler that got caught doing something they shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, but it works.
Those legs are moving so quick, and those arms are flailing, but you can't catch him.
But it works.
He's like a little mosquito you can't slap. But he's a mosquito that can throw the ball 65 yards on the dot. He's great. DeAndre Hopkins, what a game for him. 14 catches, 150 yards in his first game there. I don't think he's missing Houston and Bill O'Brien, I'll tell you that. He looked great. Raheem Mostert looking pretty solid. Big 75-yard touchdown. Receiving, actually. Picking up where he left off in the NFC Championship Super Bowl last year. Look out for him to have a good year. And let me say again, Jimmy G. He's not good. He's not good. I don't think that he's ever been good. Kyle Shanahan is an absolute genius when it comes to offense, unless it's the fourth quarter of a Super Bowl, because we all know what he does there. But he had Brian Hoyer throwing the hell out of the ball in Cleveland. Obviously, my guy Matt Ryan gets the MVP with him. But he can turn anybody into a good quarterback. Do not buy into Jimmy G. I think there's a chance of a Super Bowl hangover for the 49ers this year. Don't necessarily think they miss the playoffs, but 9-7, 10-6 is a possibility for a roster that should go 13-3. The nightcap of Sunday, you've got Dallas and the Rams opening up this $5 billion stadium. It is absolutely beautiful there in the Rams, and they filled it up with 0 fans. And that has to hurt a little bit. But stadium's beautiful. Got to give it to it. Uniform on the other side, Rams look terrible. The numbers, icing on an ice cream cake. I mean, it is bad. The color of the jersey is bone. Do you know what the color of bone is?
No.
White? It's like an off-white, and then the jersey gets sweaty, and it looks great.
It's like teeth color, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's pretty rough. It's
yeah, I don't know.
Never seen anything like it. It's absolutely hideous. But anyway, let's get on to the game. Jared Goff actually looked pretty solid. I still think he's a solid quarterback off the play action, and that's how you have to get him going. You have to get him going off the play action, which brings up Malcolm Brown, who kind of came out of nowhere week 1, had a great week. Obviously, waiver wire, everybody picks him up in fantasy. They love him. He looked better than Cam Akers, the rookie out of Florida State, that everybody was expecting to be the lead back, but expected running back by committee there. But the mad scientist Sean McVay figured out that team might make the playoffs. They look pretty good week 1, and Aaron Donald's still the best defensive player I've probably ever seen. He can still do his thing. Dallas. Mike McCarthy. I get you don't have Aaron Rodgers there anymore, so you don't have to argue and you can do your own thing now. You're not in Green Bay with him. You're in Dallas. You're down 3 and you go for it on 4th and 3 on the 11-yard line. Kick the field goal, take the points. You don't do it, you're down 3. Then at the end of the game, you throw a great ball to Michael Gallup. Dak does. Complete flop by Jalen Ramsey. They call offensive pass interference. Would have put you in field goal range. I agree it was a bad call. But I don't feel bad because you passed up the points earlier, and that's what you get. That's what happens when you force yourself to play from behind. Take the points, tie the game, and keep it going. I mean, yeah. you agree with the same way. I mean,
that's how I won that NCAA tournament.
You did win the NCAA.
I had to take the points when I got them.
You had to.
Yeah, that's how I won.
Yeah, but then you kicked the field goals.
That's what I'm saying.
And then what'd you do? You went fake field goal and got one.
Yeah,
But because you'd kicked the field goal and they expect you to do that.
Yeah,
you play the game smart and then you play off of that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand it. Do not force yourself to play from behind. Don't chase points too early. Pittsburgh and the Giants. Danny Dimes is a good quarterback. I know he had the red zone interception, but if you watch it, his arm got hit as he threw. That offensive line, it's bad. They couldn't beat a group of 4th graders in Red Rover. They can't keep anybody from getting in the backfield. It is very, very bad. But Daniel Jones, I think, is still great. Pittsburgh defense is insane. I thought they were the best defense in the league coming into the year. They've done absolutely nothing to prove me otherwise. That team looks good. You got Big Ben back. Big Ben's back with that defense.
He looked good.
He did. And I heard him talking. He said he felt like he got hit by a train after Sunday. Monday said he felt like he got hit by a car. Tuesday he said he was hoping he felt like he got off a bike. He's old. He's going to be sore.
He's been in there. That's another guy who's been in the league forever.
Since 2004.
Yeah.
Since 2004.
Imagine what the video games looked like then compared to now.
It's barely PlayStation 2 at that point.
That's what I'm saying. So
Big Ben.
He's been there for a while.
He's there. Big Ben plays the way Big Ben can, or even half as good as Big Ben has. With that defense, they're a team to watch out for because Juju's back. You got Connor. Connor gets hurt. Oh no, the world is falling in Pittsburgh. My guy, Benny Snell Jr., out of Kentucky. And not just Kentucky fans, SEC fans know. That guy is a monster. Comes out, rushes for 100-plus yards in relief on Monday Night Football. Give Benny the rock. Good things happen. That's 100% fact.
Mm-hmm.
The second game of the Monday Night doubleheader, you got the Titans and the Broncos. Drew Lock. I think he's solid. He shows promise. You obviously know him from Missouri.
Yeah, playing with him on NCAA. He was good.
He was great. He was great at Missouri.
I didn't think he was going to be good in the NFL.
He broke Andre Woodson's SEC record for passing touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Then, of course, Joe Burrow broke every record last year. But Drew Lock, he's done it against good competition in college, and so far in the NFL, he's 5-2 as a starter now. But I think he's got the skill set. You got Jerry Jeudy there with him, and you got Cortland Sutton, who did not play Week 1. He's got some talent around him. Melvin Gordon, and if Phillip Lindsay gets healthy, that team has a chance to sneak into the playoffs. Ryan Tannehill looked good. He throws the ball 43 times, and people say that's too much. Derrick Henry still had 31 carries. They're showing a little bit of balance. They're getting him on the play action, letting him use his athleticism. He looks great. A.J. Brown and Corey Davis are good wideouts. You've got Humphreys in the slot, Jonnu Smith at tight end. They've got a team, I think, that can actually win 11 or 12 games if Steven Gostkowski can make a kick. This man missed 3 goals and a PAT. He made the game winner, don't get me wrong. It was 21 yards. Timmy Lupus could make that kick. But this man, one of the best kickers that's kicked in the last 15 years. He's getting old, I get it, but that's awful. You've got to find a way to score touchdowns, field goals, something if you're Tennessee, because you love ball control offense. You're going to be playing in close games all year. Got to get that figured out. They get that figured out, they've got a shot. Obviously, Derrick Henry's still the man. He only had 117 yards on 31 carries, but the fact that he had 31 carries and had not lost any steam by the end of the game it shows again how special of a talent that guy is.
Yeah.
So week 1, it was a fun week. You saw some hiccups. There's no preseason. You saw some mistakes that you're not used to necessarily seeing, officiating and playing. But they'll get it going. I think we're in for a good season. Can't wait to see what happens. So I'm going to make this a thing that I try to do every week. My offensive game ball for week 1 has to go to Aaron Rodgers. It was up between him, Lamar, Russell Wilson, Josh Jacobs. They all showed out. But Aaron Rodgers.
Was Cam up there?
Cam was not, because it was the Dolphins.
Okay.
It was 21-11 against the Dolphins. He played well. He did what he needed to do. But at the same time, it was the Dolphins. Aaron Rodgers went out there against the Vikings, a team who won a playoff game last year, and went crazy right after drafting a quarterback in the first round. I like that, Rodgers. I don't like you. I like that, though. Defensive game ball, I'm actually going to give out 2. I'm giving out 1 to Jamal Adams, getting 5 tackles for a loss from a safety. I don't understand why it's not being talked about more. That's absurd. 5 tackles for a loss by anybody is ridiculous, but by a safety, it's ridiculous. And the other one, trust me, I do not like Green Bay. I'm not a Green Bay fan. I like the team they have, but I'm not a fan of their team. Jair Alexander gets the other one, the young cornerback out of Louisville. He had an interception, a sack, and a safety. He's one of only 9 DBs, I think 9 players actually, in NFL history to do that in the same game. Got to give him up to that. So I will try to come on as well on the Fletcher Entertainment and give my picks for next week. That'll be something I try to do, but I like to recap all of the games. It's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm. This is how free balling's going to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We might switch that with college.
Oh, once the college, because to me, until the SEC starts playing,
nobody's playing.
College football ain't started.
Yeah. I mean, right now, the SEC has the most ranked teams in the top 25. They haven't even played yet.
Yeah, so. Exactly. So, I mean, that season hasn't started yet.
Right, exactly.
You got Miami and Louisville this week. I guess that's somewhat of a big game.
Yeah.
Give me the U. It's all about the U. It's all about the U.
I'm not going to start watching until the 26th. So.
I'm just going to watch it and hope that Louisville gets beat, as a Kentucky fan. But football's football. I sat around and watched Memphis play the other day just because I miss football. So I get it, but the season hasn't started yet. Well, NBA. Bubble basketball has been completely unpredictable. It's been fun. I know you're not as big of an NBA guy.
No.
But
played some 2K in my day, though.
Played some 2K. I mean, I feel like we've all played some 2K. We look at last night. Game 7. Clippers.
Game 7?
Game 7. They were up 3-1 in the series. Extreme favorites. Championship or nothing kind of season. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, stacked. And you blow it. Denver has now came back from 3-1 twice in this. As a Jazz fan, they got us. I can deal with that. We weren't ready. Bogdanovich was out. I can deal with it. But seeing the Clippers lose again to them makes me feel better.
I saw your retweet.
Oh.
Everybody was talking about Clippers winning it,
Yeah, the Clippers, I never expected them to win it because Paul George doesn't show up in the playoffs. But I've got one question for you Clipper fans. Why so serious? Jokic, the Joker, 16 points, 22 rebounds, 13 assists in a Game 7? That is ridiculous. This man looks like Uncle Fester from the Addams Family and then comes out there and drops that on you. How can you not love the guy? He obviously infuriated me watching them against the Jazz. But this Nuggets team is a lot more fun to watch when they're not playing your team. Jamal Murray. Man. Straight out of Kentucky. Obviously, he's out of Toronto. But coming from UK, you could tell who's a scorer. This man just dropped his fourth 40-point game in the playoffs this year. 250 balls, 240 balls. And he's the second youngest player in NBA history to have 40 points in a Game 7. He's feeling it. Jokic is feeling it. Jerry and Grant, Gary Harris, Paul Millsap, they're playing great. This is a team, honestly, I'm picking the Lakers in the next one, but they can give the Lakers some trouble. They are a very tough team. Kawhi, Paul George, combined for 24 points in a Game 7. There's about $80 million combined between you two. And that's why you're with New Balance, Kawhi.
What's wrong with New Balance?
Oh, sorry, Fletch. See, I got to get Fletch into it. I know it's going to get him a little frustrated. This man will take up for New Balance any day.
How long have I been wearing them?
Since I met you, freshman year. So
5th grade.
Yeah, I'm about to say, since I met you, I don't think I've seen you wear anything other than New Balance.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, sorry to bring down New Balance.
You're straight. Don't do it again.
It's a fair point, but I also don't see you out there in the bubble putting up buckets either. So, New Balance, NBA, don't really go too well. But hey, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. They had 0 points in the fourth quarter. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. How do you do that? In the second half, the Clippers had a lower shooting percentage than the Browns have had winning percentage since they came back into the league. Think about that. Since the new Browns came back in 99, their winning percentage was higher than the Clippers' shooting percentage in the second half. I'm just going to let you ponder on that for a second and think about that. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. And I've been saying forever, Doc Rivers is the most overrated coach in the NBA. 12 teams in NBA history have blown a 3-1 lead. Doc Rivers has done it 3 times. The players on those teams, he had prime Tracy McGrady and blew one. He had prime Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan, and Blake Griffin. Blew one. And now Paul George and Kawhi Leonard and blew one. Get him out, man. Get him out. Get him out. I sound like Coach Monty right now. If any of y'all have played this guy, get him out. It's bad. Come on, man. You got to change your name to Doc because you ain't helping anybody. You ain't helping anybody. Johnny Sins is a better Doc than you, Rivers. It's bad. Come on now. You've got to figure it out. You got to get out. It's time for you to probably hang it up, Doc. I'm not even going to say anything else about it. The Clippers choked. It was bad. Choked. There's plenty of jokes I can make, but I'm not going to. I'm probably not going to get a haircut for the next 2 weeks because I cannot trust any Clippers right now. It's bad. Celtics and Heat. Game 1. You know it's going to be a dogfight. 3 words. Jimmy fucking buckets. This man hit a go-ahead 3-ball in the fourth quarter. It goes into overtime. Because the Celtics get a ridiculous loose ball foul. I get it, whatever. But it goes into overtime. Then he hits an and one with 12 seconds. Jimmy Butler's the dog. You want to hit the ball in his hand at the end. He's just like this entire Heat team. They don't know how to lose. They don't know how to lose. Bam Adebayo has one of the greatest defensive plays I've ever seen in my life. Jason Tatum driving in on him. This man's hand was flat. The whole ball was in the rim, and he just swats it out like it's nothing. Bam, that was one of the greatest plays I've ever seen. You hit the free throw to pretty much clinch it. Heat take game 1. This series is going 7. It's going to be a dogfight. Be ready, because that's going to be a good time.
When did they play that game?
This was last night. Both of those games were last night.
Yeah, you said the next game?
The next game will be on Thursday. Thursday, and then you have the Western Conference Finals starting on Friday.
Cool.
But 2 great coaches in this series. They're going to go right into it. The Celtics have to figure out how to stop being so stagnant on offense at the end of the games. The ball movement is what makes the Celtics the Celtics. They pass the ball. They do what they do. At the end, let's give Jason Tatum an ISO. Give Jaylen Brown an ISO. Give Kemba an ISO. No, keep running your offense. Keep running your offense. Do what works. But that'll be a dogfight. So looking forward ahead to the conference finals. Celtics and Heat. I think it goes 7. As much as I want to pick the Heat, I think the Celtics win in 7. I think each game is at least single digits. They're all going to be dogfights. I'm excited to see. Pulling for the Heat. Think the Celtics pull it out. Two of the best coaches in the NBA, like I said. It'll be fun to watch. Western Conference Finals. Man, the Nuggets, I don't know even how to predict with them because they've been down 3-1 in back-to-back series. I don't think LeBron's a guy that's going to blow a 3-1 lead. He comes back from them, as we all know. 73-9, and they lied. We all know what happened there. But I'm taking Lakers in 6. That's my prediction. I don't think that one's actually going to be as close. I just don't know how much the Nuggets have, left in the tank. But who am I to sit here and doubt them? Because obviously they've completely overcame all the doubt all postseason. So we'll see what happens. It'll be fun. And as a Kentucky fan, it's going to be a complete infomercial for the University of Kentucky watching these conference finals with guys like Jamal Murray, Anthony Davis, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo. You're going to see what Kentucky does. I don't see how this hurts Kentucky basketball either, but let's not get into that. NBA, bubble ball. It's been a great time. Can't wait to see how it plays out. Excited for week 2.
Excited for week 2. Yeah. So I think that I like my keys for the NFL right now. I want to see how Cam Newton does.
I would like to see how that keeps going as well.
See how that goes.
I'm right there with you.
What about you?
Obviously as a Falcons fan, I want to see if our defense can come up, figure it out. The Cowboys, we should win, I think, but who knows? That's kind of a toss-up. But, I want to see how Cam does. I want to see how that keeps going. Mm-hmm. I need to see if Tom Brady bounces back or if he finally looks like a 43-year-old man. I want to see Kyler Murray, see if he can keep it going. Same with Rodgers. There's just a lot going on. I just need to see which teams are going to settle in and which teams are kind of going to be going wild all year.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because, there's no way. You can practice as much as you want, but there's no way to mimic true game speed. That's something you just got to go out there and do. So yeah. I think this year those veteran teams are going to have a complete head start on all of these young teams. But we'll see. Sometimes those young guys just don't care and they just go out and play. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Next week, we'll be able to talk about some previewing some SEC football games.
I'm hyped.
And I think that can be a great time.
Yeah.
Football season starts when the SEC kicks off.
Right. It hasn't started yet.
And who has the noon kickoff? Kentucky Auburn. Yeah. So we're kicking off the football season, in my opinion.
Pretty much.
We're the first game of college football, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be fun. I think Kentucky's got a chance to win that game, but we'll get into that next week.
Yeah, we will. Hopefully nothing gets canceled, so we can just keep going, and we'll do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a world you got to wear a mask, and you can barely get people to wear gloves. So who knows what'll happen? But
all right. Well, this has been Free Ballin', hosted by Ethan Sarton, presented by Fletcher Entertainment, and that was it.
We'll see you guys next week. I want to thank my guy Fletch here for allowing me this opportunity, and looking forward to getting back to you guys. Thank you all.